Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network, and happy Friday. Welcome to Wake Up America show. We're glad to have you here. It is Freedom Family Friday. Let's head over to check out how Stephanie's doing. What? She's not there.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Mala took her away. We're glad to have Drew Van Runkle, LW78, Jose MMA, Quantum Kitty, Dad Bod Baboon, Sign of Jonah, Bruce Burtwhistle, and so many others of our friends joining us live on the show this morning. Did you have a good Halloween? I love that part right there with the drums. I went over to Andy's house last night, took the baby and Stephanie, and we were there for like an hour and a half maybe. Andy Opperman, real cool guy, lives in Jefferson City. And we got the big candy bars last night. It was delicious. My waistline this morning, though, was like...
How dare you?
What's up, John Rail? Sign of Jonah? Candy. I love candy. No, I do too. I snuck an extra bar on my way out the door. Pork Chop 159. What's up, Pork Chop? Eric Wilson? Dad Bod? All of our friends just hanging out here nice and live on the morning. Well, what's the deal? Where's Stephanie? Shouldn't she be right there? Shouldn't she be right there? What about the bonus baby cam? Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun. We got a situation. Basically baby's just crying and needs to go to sleep, but won't go to sleep, and we just barely got this show live on time. It's getting kind of hard to do Freedom Family Friday with the baby such as it is, but we don't have a babysitter, and then Steffi loves to be on the show, so we're at a bit of a conundrum here, scenario wise. So hopefully we will be able to have a bonus baby if we raise $100 today by the end of the show. But definitely help to unlock the bonus content. If we hit $60 by the end of the show, then we'll unlock the bonus content. And hopefully everything, will be fine. Steffi will get the baby to sleep at least for a little while. And then she will come and join me on the show. And we'll have a sweet little redheaded girl. And we'll have a sweet little redheaded girl. I've got a million billion clips, but we've got no Justin. I'm sorry, guys.
Please, no!
It's everything I can do to keep it together. New dad and all these new, shall we say, entrepreneurial ventures that I'm engaging in these days. But we're keeping it together, and we're here, we're live, we're together. Let's have a great show. What do you say? Only days away until the election. If Kamala Harris loses, the Wall Street Journal says it will be for 3 reasons. 1, Democrats are deserting the party. Yes. 2, she was unprepared. Yes. Also, yes. And then 3, she has no clear message. Yes, yes, and yes. But I think there's a really important factor that the Wall Street Journal is missing in this one. And our friend Douglas Murray writes in the New York Post yesterday, another major factor for why Kamala Harris is going to lose, because she can't get men to vote for her. Men, get out and vote, and don't let Harris lie her way into the White House. There we are. Justin loves us. Yes. But he's just sick today. So that is what it is. Sick. Justin, crying baby, means Austin is all alone. And on the inside, I'm crying and I'm kind of sad. And my enemies are celebrating. Today wants to defeat me, but I won't let it. Men, get out and vote. Don't let Kamala Harris lie her way into the White House. What is the difference between men and women? No, that's not one of those trick questions meant to trip up a Democratic nominee for the Supreme Court. It's an easy one, and it's especially easy if you're in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and North Carolina, because in all of these places, the gap between men and women is clear. Across the country, the difference in early voting between women and men is already glaring. Among mail-in and in-person early votes cast across the country, there is currently reckoned to be a 10-point gap between male and female voters, with 54% of such votes cast by women as opposed to just 44% by men. But in the swing states, the gap is higher. In Pennsylvania, as of yesterday, female voters were accounting for roughly 56% of the vote, with male voters accounting for about 43%, a difference of 13%, which means that given the female voting lean toward Kamala and the male voting lean towards Trump, as of now, Republicans are not in the best position. Of course, it is interesting that it takes an election for the Democrats to become clear about what a woman is. When it comes to high school athletics or women's sports in general, the Dems are damned if they know or care about the difference. Hell, the Dems are even running a Veet candidate so unsure about what women are that he thinks boys need tampon dispensers in their bathrooms, something that even South Park's Eric Cartman eventually worked out wasn't necessary. Thank you. This is Douglas Murray over the New York Post. Poor baby. She tried to set it down and then it just started squealing and then she had to run. But when it comes to targeting women as voters, well, the Democrats are clear as anything about what women are, and as ruthless and crude as possible in trying to get their vote. The Democrats have particularly capitalized on the overturning of Roe versus Wade, something which did hit the Republicans badly in the midterms. Since then, the Democrats have run fake story after fake story about the issue, all while railing about misinformation, obviously. Yesterday, one of their cheerleaders, Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times, told women that they should think about stories like this one as they vote. He wrote of a struggling Nevada mom who suffered a miscarriage. Then the police show up and arrest her for manslaughter, and she's sentenced to 2.5 to 8 years in prison. According to Kristof, only when a pro bono lawyer turned up did this innocent mom manage to be set free to return to her children. He went on to ask, "This is family values? Think as you vote." Now, what Kristof failed to mention was that the Nevada mom in question smoked crystal meth while pregnant, admitted that she had done this to kill the baby, and that she did this in the third trimester. Oh, and this happened in 2018, long before Roe versus Wade was overturned. Kristof either didn't know or didn't care about all of that, but still, women voters, know your place and fight for the right of women to deliberately poison their babies with meth, or else the Democrats will call you Hitler.
Offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Know your place, ladies. You have to vote for that. In another example, one of Kamala's top surrogates, Mark Cuban, claimed in an interview, Donald Trump, you know what, as a matter of fact, why don't we let Mark Cuban speak for himself?
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women.
No strong or intelligent women. So there are no strong or intelligent around Donald Trump. Well, I'm sure it's going to play really well. Which is strange because there were plenty of strong, intelligent women at Madison Square Garden on Sunday, not the least of which speakers like Tulsi Gabbard, for example. I seem to remember that when Kamala Harris had to stand up against Tulsi Gabbard gave her a thrashing. Reminded me a little bit of how I chewed on the Gary Johnson's ankle in 2016. And we both kind of got the same treatment, Tulsi Gabbard and me. But she left the party and joined the Republicans, and I left the party and joined the Republicans, right? I left the Libertarians, joined the Republicans. She left the Democrats, joined the Republicans. And now Tulsi Gabbard and I are on the same side. She's a strong woman. There are plenty of strong women who are supporting Donald Trump. But they've clearly worked in persuading some women voters to be super mobilized in this election. And so the early vote turnout difference is actually bad news for Republicans. Although Trump could still benefit from highlighting some more of the strong, intelligent women around him, this is clearly a sex-based election. Let's speak to the sexiest woman I know, and that's Stephanie Peterson.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, my love.
I hope I'm covered up. I literally just had my boobs out.
You are covered up. Oh, nice.
This Rosie the Riveter outfit is actually very good for breastfeeding.
Yes, ladies and
Women out there, buy a
I
jumpsuit.
think my wife deserves another round of applause.
It is definitely getting harder and harder to get Hazel to sleep before the show.
It is, but we're glad that you made it, Stephanie. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. We're talking about women voting for Kamala Harris. And
I'm not voting for Kamala Harris.
well, wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm not a real woman.
Well, you're not a strong woman because here's what Mark Cuban, who I know you like, unfortunately.
Shark Tank.
Here's what Mark Cuban says about the women around Trump.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
Okay. Yes, she's a strong, independent woman.
Right.
Very much.
Right.
All the beautiful women that are around him, like his daughter, or it's his daughter-in-law, Laura.
Mhm.
Is that his daughter-in-law?
Laura Trump.
She's quite a strong, independent woman. She's out there moving and shaking all by herself.
Oh, you're talking about Ivana?
Laura, I think.
Well, there's Laura and then there's Ivana.
Okay, I know
Or
Laura
Ivanka.
is like the she's the
me.
head of some sort of Republican.
Yeah, the head of the RNC.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
she's a
so
strong one. But here's the thing. So there's a little bit of a warning. So there's a red flag that's flying, Stephanie. We're talking about it this morning because early voting, they're counting the votes as the early voting is coming in.
Are they already counting?
Yeah, the counting has begun.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So, but here's the thing. So in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and North Carolina,
Yes.
we're starting to see some of the votes cast and the difference between male and female voters. This is interesting. So
how do they know who's a guy and who's a girl who's voting on their ballot?
we'll get to that because
it's anonymous.
listen,
Oh,
so they do exit polls and things like that.
Oh, the exit
Right.
polls.
Because in all of these places, the gap between men and women is clear among, and this is happening across the country, among mail-in and in-person early votes cast around the country. There is currently reckoned to be a 10-point gap between male and female voters, with 54% of such votes cast by women, as opposed to just 44% by men.
So women are mostly voting.
Yes,
That's
it's
what this is.
54% of the votes that are cast are by women. A strong 10%, by 10% more women are voting than men.
That's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign,
That's a
isn't
really bad
Why is
sign.
that a bad sign, Stephanie?
Those women are going out for Kamala.
Why?
I'm going to tell you because they want to protect their right,
To kill
their
babies.
body's right to choose.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny because Trump isn't even like the most pro-life candidate. Like he isn't like the most pro-life
he's
Republican.
like, it's fine. You can abort the baby due to incest, rape. If you have medical issues, you can abort. And even his wife, she's really all about abortion.
Yeah, Melania.
She's very pro-choice.
Yep, she is. And
But I was watching actually this musician who was playing for one of Kamala's rallies the other day.
Mhm.
I forgot her name, but I really liked the song that she was playing. And I'm like, it's such a shame. This girl is so good. But her speech about Kamala Harris was so empowering. It almost got me to want to support Kamala because these people that are supporting Kamala at these rallies, they are using just the right words to get you in your feels.
Mhm. And here's the tactics that the Democrats are using on women, and these are legit. These are not say legitimate, but they're nasty tactics. But listen to this.
Yeah, I hate to say, but women, they know how to get into each other's panties. Especially on the Democrat side. There's a lot of bisexual women there on the Democrat side, and they know how to talk to other women. They do. And it's working. I'm sorry. They know to get to women through emotion.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, Rosie the Riveter. It's John. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted this. She says, "Your vote is anonymous and confidential. Who you voted for is your secret. No one can know unless you tell them." And it's she's posting this as a repost of a guy named Sahil Kapoor, who talks about a woman who says that they leave Post-it notes in the bathroom saying nobody will know who you voted for, like they're being trafficked, right? So it's like, yeah. So Republican women are they're going to vote for Kamala Harris secretly because the Democratic women are telling them, ladies, we all need to get together and we need to vote for Kamala.
Very much.
yeah.
Yeah, the women are trying to put each other against the men.
Yes.
Especially on like Instagram videos and TikTok.
This is-
They're all like, ladies, listen, these men are bad.
Mhm.
Don't vote with them.
Yeah, here, take a listen.
And she needs people to basically
This is
lie to
Charlie
their
Kirk.
husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising
what did he
campaign
just say?
so repulsive.
This is a Charlie Kirk talking about Republican women undermining their husbands. Take a listen.
And she needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provides for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands and do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling.
Oh, absolutely. I would really believe that, honestly. Just seeing all of the material that is out there that is just trying to empower women to be independent and not need a man.
But I mean, we're talking about directly undermining the relationship between a husband and a wife, where the Democrat women are trying to speak to you, for example, try and get you to support Kamala Harris.
I think there are a lot of resentful housewives out there in the conservative community. The housewives that are cooking and cleaning, taking care of the kids, and they're tired. And I think the Democrats know that, and they're really trying to target these women. And they're saying, ladies, look, there's a better life for you out there. Like, you don't have to listen to your husband anymore. You don't have to obey.
Was it you that said on this show, was it me or was it Camellia? Was it you or Camellia that said that the idea of female judges is problematic because of their decision making being impacted by a weekly event visitor or monthly visitor? Was it you that said that?
I have said something like that before.
Is this another example of this kind of mindset that we, no offense, have to tolerate from your gender? Because I mean, I'm not trying to to deliberately be offensive, but I mean, it's kind of sickening to it kind of turns my stomach at just how men will go to battle and will slice each other's organs out. And there's the brutality of men on men. I'm not suggesting that but we know what we're doing, right? This isn't some manipulation tactic. It's do you see how kind of twisted this is?
Oh yeah. There's serious camaraderie around women.
Yeah.
It's all rah, rah, rah.
But then you stab each other in the back.
Right.
Was it you
It's that whole yes, queen, you're a 10.
Yes.
Misogyny. We just continue to lie to each other and we love it.
Who was I saying this to yesterday? I was like, misogyny is when when men treat women like women treat women.
Oh, that's funny.
They say misogynist. They're like, oh, he's a misogynist. Well, what is that man saying or doing? Well, what he's doing is treating a woman irregularly, right? How women treat each other regularly,
right? Yeah, women put up with each other's cattiness. They love that drama with each other,
right?
Why is that not okay for a man?
You know what I mean? Do you get kind of how sadistic and twisted it is too? That the entire reason you would vote for a candidate who would take us into World War III, who would be hostile. Massive government, everything, just for the right to slice and dice the child in your womb. We were talking about this story earlier.
It's not how they think. I mean, they truly feel that they're changing the world, these Democrats. At these rallies, seriously, if you listen to the speeches that are given by these celebrities, they truly feel that Kamala is going to save them.
Right.
And is going to save the world. Right.
But they hated her 3 months ago.
Oh.
And now they like her.
I'm not sure about that. They feel like Trump is just going to mess everything up, and they're convincing everyone in the audience.
But aren't they brainwashed? Aren't they really just brainwashed?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to you about this recently, thinking that you and I maybe are the outcasts.
We are.
Me, the libertarians.
Yeah.
We're not the majority anymore.
That's right.
We never were the majority, but
no, never.
Truly,
most people are not going to be enlightened.
nowadays the Democrat ideology is the majority. And I hate to admit it, but it's just the world has gotten away from people like you and I.
Right.
And we're not in tune to what these people want anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not convinced that we're going to be able to win this time.
But like more than ever, it's why it's important for us to fight against democracy, right? We have to prevent being ruled by retards. We can't let the least of us govern all of us. There has to be a system like the Electoral College. And actually, I saw Glenn Beck bring this up yesterday. I really like this idea. We need an Electoral College at the state level. All 50 states need to have their own electoral colleges. We need to prevent things like we're going to have 7 ballot measures voting on here in Missouri.
Wow. I only know one of them, the
abortion one.
Abortion one?
Yeah.
I don't know any
There's
others.
going to be 7 things on your ballot to vote for.
Better start studying.
And it's too easy to get this things on the ballot and cronyism.
Yes.
We need to raise the stakes and the challenges. We need to put roadblocks in the way of letting the masses govern, because we're not supposed to be governed by the masses. We're not supposed to let the majority rule. We're not a democracy.
But what happens when the majority is just so huge that there's like literally a few people that believe something?
Well, it's like a lot of things.
How can those few people still win?
You create safeguards. Well, here's the thing. Don't you think that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Sam Adams and Patrick Henry, when they were sitting around conspiring, but it was a conspiracy, by the way, the American Revolution. When they were conspiring to commit a crime and to be treasonous and traitors, that there was a small group of it. It was you, me, Andy Opperman, Sign of Jonah, Quantum Kitty, Kilsharian, Quest Fanning, sitting around the 702 people who are watching us live on Rumble right now, and however many on Twitter. Good morning. Don't you think that when they were sitting around plotting treason against King James III, that they weren't saying to themselves, Skywalker, there's too many of them, that they were outnumbered? They were outnumbered. Yeah. They were outnumbered. They were outgunned. They were outmanned at everything, but they had to stay and do what's right. No, regardless of what the majority opinion. And there was a third of the colonists, Stephanie, that were loyalists that fought against people like us that were our brethren. I mean, this is very much that same situation. This is brother against brother, sister against sister.
I've talked to you about this also in saying that, as libertarians, we believe everyone can do what they want. We can't control others. So I've said to you, like, why should we try to put that ideology onto everybody else? Who's to say that our ideology is the correct one? And I think that's what we've come to now in this world, is that
how do we
know if the Democrat ideology is really wrong? We feel it is, but they clearly don't. So how can we say this group is right, this group is wrong?
Well, it depends. I mean, that's a really great question, Stephanie, and I'm glad that you asked it.
I'm not saying they're right.
No, it's a great question.
I'm saying it seems like their ideas are becoming more and more popular, and it makes me wonder, gosh,
but is
my thinking backwards?
Well, but no, it's not, because don't never let how the masses think influence you and ask,
that's what they want.
Yes, they want you to go along, to get along. They want you
make me feel like I literally almost feel like I'm like missing the bus here.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me?
The prisoners, listen, most people take the easy route in life. We're working off camera 3 today. Hey guys, how's it going? Most people want to take the easy route in life, Stephanie. The easy route is the unexamined. We remember literally this morning we were talking about the unexamined life versus the most
love to fit in. These Kamala rallies would seriously make you feel like you're singing Kumbaya.
Right. But it's very cultish, yes. Right? And they create that sense of togetherness. Yes. But it's a collectiveness, whereas we're individualists. Yeah. And so the problem, of course, is that, we're always going to stick out like a sore thumb, even among right wingers, conservatives. And, I stick out on like a sore thumb amongst libertarians. You know what I mean? Like, right. Like I'm a little spiky.
You really feel very different from a lot of
extremely
people.
Different. I'm just an odd duck, and but I embrace that. But people like myself, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much or anything like that, but like people like myself, like we're what makes America great, because the fact that we have a place where people like you and I can exist and we can actually have freedom of speech. We would be dead if we were in China. People like you and I would have been disappeared long ago, right?
We'd be like the Falun Gong.
The Falun Gong, yes, they would have disappeared me 20 years ago for the things that I was saying and doing, and going to street protests with not wearing a mask, showing my face, like "and the Fed, and the Fed, and the Fed," all those chants and stuff like that, all those anarchist chants. But I refuse to give up my life and my individual spirit to the will of the mob.
Yeah.
I refuse. I don't have to, because we are not a democracy. And so when you say, "Oh, how can we protect ourselves against those things?" You asked like several big questions, Stephanie,
Yes.
but I can't answer all of them this morning. But
Right, they're all rhetorical questions.
well, to
truly.
some extent, I do want
Food
to.
for thought.
I do want to say I think I have good answers for all of that, but I don't have time to answer it right now. I have to say thank you to Rumble for putting us on the front page.
Oh, are we
Must be.
watching?
We must have gotten featured. Yeah, there's about 775 people over on rumble.com this morning. Look at my beautiful wife as Rosie the River. This is Stephanie.
Are you all Kamala fans? Is that why
No.
listening to me talking about the Kamala rallies?
No. So
How enticing they seem to be.
we gave the black-pilled females voting for Kamala version. Now we're going to talk about 3 reasons why Kamala will lose to get people in a better mood.
That'll make me feel better. That really will.
Yes. But before we do,
You know that the Kamala people are really like stooping very low, because now they're giving us the treatment that we gave them about Biden. Now they're saying, "Oh, we're so worried about Trump and his cognitive decline."
no, they're just doing that to just roast.
Yeah, well, they're showing videos of him like unable to open the garbage truck door, and he's like almost tripping, and they're like, "We're very concerned about him."
Yeah, no, it's concerned trolling. We've raised $5, $10, $15, $16, $17, $18 towards the $100 goal for the day.
We actually have a sale going on that started on Halloween. You can get $5 off of a $50 order or more, and $10 off of a $100 order or more by using code BOOFOR Liberty 5 or Boo for Liberty 10. So Boo for Liberty 5 will get you the $5 off. Boo for Liberty 10 will give you $10 off.
So if you spend at least $50, use Boo for Liberty 5.
Yes.
And then if I spend $100 at forlibertyshop.com, I use Boo for Liberty, the number 10. Boo for Liberty 10.
So
Okay.
at forlibertyshop.com,
Let's do it now, because we got to unlock the bonus content. Yeah.
Yes, it's all items, not just specific collections.
Yes. So, and it's today only because it's Halloweeny, right?
It's actually through Sunday. I made it.
There you go. Through Sunday.
Halloween weekend.
But we want people to unlock the bonus content.
Yes.
So use it now. Head on over to forlibertyshop.com. Look at our beautiful, delicious coffee boxes, founding flavors. You can get those at forlibertyshop.com.
I think we'll be adding some more coffee as well very
Yes,
soon.
we will. Yeah, we got to get some
plans.
more. We have plans for more coffee. So thanks so much for tuning in over at rumble.com/AP for Liberty. I'm AP for Liberty. I'm Austin Peterson, AP. And we're glad to have you here. The Wake Up America show streams live Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. So underneath the video, click the follow button here on the channel and come back and join us Monday. It's going to be a great show on Monday as well. The 3 reasons Harris will lose the election.
All right, bring it on. Let's see how convincing they are.
Okay. So the first reason why the Kamala Harris will lose is that a historic Democratic voting bloc will desert her in margins that the polls haven't anticipated. So hundreds of thousands of traditional Democrats who came of age in post-war America can't visualize Miss Harris walking in the footsteps of people like Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harry Truman, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, and Hubert Humphrey. She kind of suffers from a stature gap that $1 billion of advertising really isn't going to change. And even if voters don't mark their ballot for Donald Trump, it will be to his benefit. The vice president had 4 years to rise to levels of national and international prominence, to expand her vitae beyond being Joe Biden's choice. She squandered that opportunity. Or maybe Mr. Biden and his inner circle didn't loosen the leash enough to let her do things on her own. But either way, the result is the same. She's not the person for the moment. The second reason that Kamala Harris will lose is that she was unprepared to enter the rough and tumble world of national politics. And at the 11th hour, she's kind of relying on being propped up, as she has throughout her career, by her patrons like Barack Obama and his operatives. Miss Harris is kind of a victim of her own success through moving up the political ladder without being fully tested by challenge and conflict.
Right.
Right? She hasn't been able to really make a name for herself. She's just been like, hey, she's good, vote for her, and that's it.
Right.
Right? LW78 donated $20. Thank you, sir. He's my next. No matter what these early voting tea leaves say, just vote, folks, even in safe states. Act as if Trump can win the popular vote if we just do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying on both sides. They're just saying, just vote.
Get out and vote.
Go vote.
Yes.
Though that's not always that important, right?
What do you mean?
Like, because it really, the important thing is the Electoral College.
That is what matters.
That's
but
what you
vote as if we want to win the popular vote too. Let's vote.
The popular vote doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but just vote like we're just vote twice on Sundays. Okay, so just vote. Damn it, vote.
Yeah, this whole early voting thing, I never remember that happening in Michigan. Is this something new?
Oh yeah,
Like over a week early?
It's been going on for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been going on for a little while that like early voting in recent years, they've changed just in order to accommodate the huge number of people who do want to vote.
I was talking to somebody recently who lives in the St. Louis area, and they said that they did vote early and the voting location in St. Louis was very packed.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know who those people were voting for.
Stephanie, I got to say congratulations to you. We just got the news that you sold your very first 1911 pistol-shaped Pulo. Yes.
Pulos are gun-shaped pillows. I'm very passionate about my Pulos.
She's got the Pulos. That's great. Thank you very much to Gannon. We appreciate you, Gannon.
1911 is my very favorite pistol. Lots of pistols in my hand, and I do not like any as much as the 1911. I feel very safe.
She likes the big honkin'.
I do like the bigger ones. They actually have less kickback for me.
Yeah, and then in terms of rifle, which rifle is your favorite rifle?
Well, I do like the 12 gauge shotgun. I feel very stable with that, and it's really easy to use for me. But I would say the AR-15 has the least kickback for me. So that's like the most comforting to use and the most accurate.
So ladies, gentlemen out there, if you don't know much about guns and see, they try and scare us about the AR-15. It's such a scary gun, you know. Leave your husband.
Smooth,
you know, a Democrat woman who would know nothing about guns and wants to take our guns away would say something to you like, the AR-15, it's explosive. It's a huge explosion. It's a powerful assault rifle, Stephanie. Leave your husband and call the cops and say that he hit you, and then they'll take away his guns, his big scary AR-15s.
My sister, who's a Democrat, she's been on me for a long time about locking up all of our guns and having all these safes for them.
And now we have
worried for a while.
She has, and guess what? And now, after what happened yesterday, guess what's never going to happen?
Right.
The guns are never going away.
Oh, I know. The moment I told you, did you tell everybody what?
Nobody knows what happened yesterday. We have video.
We do. Do you have it on?
I don't have it pulled up. You're going to have to send it to me. Well, maybe we can do it during the bonus content because we unlocked the bonus content. We got a story, guys.
We do have a story.
What happened?
Want to talk about it when the videos come out or no?
Go ahead and set it up, and then they'll be able to see the videos later. We'll have time to do it. We'll give them the bonus content, but tell them the story. It was scary.
It was very scary. So I was in my therapy session upstairs. I saw this. I'll say he was a black man, but that has nothing to do with it.
Just the police are like, what do they look like?
Right. And so there was a man with his bicycle, and I saw him in like the front window of where our karate dojo is. And so I was like, I continued on in my session because you were downstairs. We had a staff member downstairs that you were working with. The dogs were downstairs. So I was like, they must see what's going on. Okay, no problem. So I go downstairs after I was done, and I was like, did you see that man outside the window? And you're like, what? No. And you immediately grabbed the shotgun and you were like ready to go outside. I was like, no, he walked away. Like he went down the street. And then we looked on the Ring camera because we have Ring cameras all around. And I saw this man. So he actually came up to our house, to our front door. And he was actually knocking on our door.
Pounding on the door.
Yes. And this man looked homeless. He was like holding a grocery bag that I don't think it had anything in it. He had a backpack on. And after he knocked on the door, he started like looking around on our porch. At least that's what our cameras showed. And then when nobody answered, then that's when he started going towards our dojo window and looking in.
Yeah. Normally the dogs would be going crazy.
Right. So this was weird. Like nobody noticed. So then a few hours later, I'm looking out the window again. I guess I'm a nosy neighbor. I look out the window.
No, you should be. You should. It's fine. You should be doing that stuff.
And I see the man coming by on his bike again, and I'm shouting. I'm like, Austin, it's him. And so Austin grabs now the AK-47, not the shotgun. You know, he had to get the good gun. And he literally goes outside, sits on the front porch on our porch swing. I mean, how redneck is this? Seriously.
I'm just saying right there like this with the full banana clip right there, 30 rounds.
This man is riding down the street. He's past our house at this point. So we have like 6 people in our private road subdivision. And so
I have the video of him walking away.
Okay.
I have the video of him biking away.
You getting your AK-47.
You need to get that out. You need to get that out.
Oh my God,
you need to get that out. All right, the video is not processed yet, so it's still in there. Tell you what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna go to the bonus content. We're gonna do the bonus content for them.
Okay, we already got to the number for the bonus.
We got to the number for the bonus content. Cool. We haven't hit bonus baby. But we're getting there.
Okay.
We're at like $65 or $70. I'll tally it up while we're on our break. We're gonna go to break. Play the bonus content. Yeah. Don't go away. We're going to get the videos of the crackhead and the video of me with the AK-47. It's the last house you want to mess with, boy. It's AP for Liberty on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. We'll be right back. Wake up. Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Today is Freedom Family Friday. Hey, Steffi.
Hello. Good morning.
We've got the videos of the crackhead.
Oh, this is crazy stuff.
Came to our door. Can you give like a Reader's Digest breakdown version of what happened real quick for those who might, because we got 1,100 people tuning in on Rumble. Please, guys, click that like button. And if it is your first time watching the show, I imagine it is, then click the follow button on the stream before you leave. If you enjoy the content, we'd love to have you be a regular guest with our friends over at Rumble, rumble.com/AP for Liberty. It's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. We had a little incident with a crackhead coming on our property yesterday and rolling up in our neighborhood like the homie G was looking for something in our window. Steffi, give us the breakdown real quick, and then I got the videos.
Yeah, so basically there was a black individual with a bicycle and a backpack, and he was snooping around on our property, looking in our karate window, coming up to our door, knocking on our door. So then he left, and then he came back again down our road with his bicycle, now scouting out our neighbors' houses. And so that's where we kind of left off. And Austin came out the second time that this man came down the road. He came out the second time with his AK-47 outside to protect our house.
So I've got the video now. You ready to pull it up?
So first, should we see the one of the man knocking at our door so we can kind of...
Yeah, we'll play that one first.
Mind you, I tried to post this first video of the man on the Ring camera app for the neighbors. It's like a special neighbors section where you can communicate with neighbors about what's going on. And Ring actually declined my post because of racial profiling.
What, now, did you say a black man was casing our house?
No, I said there's a suspicious individual on my property. Does anyone know who this is?
So let me get this straight. The Neighbors app, which is meant for neighbors in communities to share, which we all typically will share Ring camera videos with each other to be like, hey, somebody was looking in my garbage. Have you seen this guy or whatever?
Just the other day, somebody shared a white man who was around their property and who was suspicious, and that post made it in there. But because this man on the video was black, but I didn't say he was black, Ring denied my request.
Well, we have the videos, but we also have the audio and where my interaction with him. Take a listen. Here's what he had to say.
Can you bless me with something?
Oh gosh.
Money wise. Please.
Can you suck it?
What?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe he needed to use the bathroom. Maybe he needed some water.
Wrong house, motherfucker. Hold on.
Try to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Here he is. Crackhead comes to the door. We still have our 4th of July stuff out.
We're always patriotic.
We're always patriotic. We love America. Here comes the crackhead. And mind you, you kind of have to like come out to our like neighborhood because we're out like behind another like spot. Can you see him on the screen? Or yeah, there we go. He's right up there.
Yeah, he has this like weird,
You know, acting kind of shit. He's got like an empty plastic, but maybe he was like, you know, maybe he'd been like trick or treat or something.
I think maybe he would. Yeah, he could have been trick or treat.
Like pretend. But here's the thing,
He's dressed as a homeless man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not opening the door for any creepy trick or treater with a plastic bag adult at 2 p.m. in the afternoon on Halloween.
It's in his backpack.
Exactly. What's in the backpack, bro? What you got back there? Anyway, so I didn't see him in this initial interaction. You did.
Yes.
And you mistakenly
should have acted. So I was in a session with a client of mine, and I was looking down from the top floor, and I was like, oh, I see this guy with a bicycle in the front yard looking in the window.
Right.
But you were downstairs with a staff member of For Liberty Network and with the dogs as well. And being that this
normally the dogs would go crazy, somebody came to the door and started knocking. But here's the thing. But here's the thing. Now, wait a minute. Now we're analyzing the video. I'm analyzing the video. It doesn't look like this isn't like a real serious knock. He's not really knocking there. He's kind of fake knocking.
We have a storm door
right
in front of our actual door. Mm-hmm. So he was knocking on the storm door. So that's why it sounds not so loud. Because he wasn't knocking on the actual wood door.
Yeah. Okay, so and there was a person, we'll talk about this later. I was telling Andy about this last night that had their Amazon, or they had like the Amazon system, it shut down on them because like a package delivery person said they heard a racist slur coming out of the thing. We'll talk about that in a minute, but he's not really knocking on the door there. No, he's casing.
And then why is he looking around while he's knocking on the door?
Right, and then he walks around to the other door that we have on the front. We've got another camera there. But here's I think the second video, the
second camera though did not capture him, which is really weird.
See, that's concerning to me there. We need to like get that short up. This is the same.
He was coming around by our dojo window. That second camera should have gotten him.
Here's AP. Look at badass. Yo, this is
the second time the man came by on his bicycle.
Yes.
And you run outside with your AK-47.
I forgot that it was recording too, but I mean, this is kind of like by accident, sort of badass, you know. I'm walking out with my freaking AK, yeah.
So then when you go out with your AK, you're calling the police as well. I assume you called the police in case you actually killed the guy?
Yeah. Well,
is that why you wanted somebody at least to know what you're doing?
First person that calls the police or is usually seen as the victim for the police. But also, I just wanted them to send a squad car. Look at this shit. Bro.
Yeah, and then he's sitting on our porch swing holding the AK-47.
Oh, yeah, I was just sitting on the front porch just menacing while he like drove. I think I have the video of him where I got it, where he was like, after he was leaving, I kind of zoomed in a little bit. There he goes.
Oh my gosh, that is him.
Yeah, it's him. 7-second video.
You got that? That's hilarious.
Yeah, I got that video.
You said he stared right at you and saw you had a gun.
As I was holding the AK-47 like my badass self, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, I'm getting out of this ghetto. Like, I don't know what is up with this.
It's like because the neighbor confronted him.
Yeah. Anyway, so after you called the police, then you called our neighbor. Is that what you did?
Uh-huh.
Did you called our neighbor next door?
Right. Yes.
And then he comes out in his like very large truck.
Yeah,
he's a truck.
He's a military dude. So
yeah, he's like in the reserves, and he's zooming down our street trying to get this guy. And apparently, he finds him. And in so many words, he told him basically, "Do not ever come down this street."
He said, "I don't want to see you around, fucking around here ever again." He said, "What you got in your backpack and shit like that?"
Asked him,
yeah, and then 15 minutes later, who shows up?
The police.
Yeah, the cops show up 15 minutes later.
The police did not even stop at our house, being that we made the call.
They didn't stop at our house. They just drove right. Here's the thing. I'm standing in the yard wearing a skeleton onesie and with an AK-47 and standing there talking to my neighbor, and like the cop doesn't stop. You know what I mean? Like I shouldered it so it wasn't like at low ready before he rolled up and all that stuff. But it's like, what the fuck, Cole County?
Yeah, wouldn't the police officer be like, why is a man with a gun on the front, of somebody's property? Like, what's going on? Yeah. But, I have a feeling that you are flagged on the system Austin Peterson.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling
What does that mean?
when you call the police department, they're probably like, oh yeah, Austin Peterson. Because you know what? They've come to our house more than once because of you shooting in the backyard because our neighbors at the park were afraid. And so they have
It's legal.
our house.
It's legal.
So they're probably like, what shenanigans is Austin up to again?
I live in the
Like,
county.
He's so racist.
I live in the county. I live in the county. Yes.
Yeah, and they probably thought we were racially profiling.
Yes. Yes. We'll be glad. We'll be glad to have all of our friends joining us live this morning on Monday. Johnny Lawrence with an AK. Yes, exactly.
You should have been wearing your karate outfit with the AK-47.
I feel like rolling up in this, people would be like, karate, you're stupid. But if I rolled up in my skeleton outfit like I had with an AK-47, people would be like, oh my God, get the hell out of here. Everybody panic, run,
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, so our neighbor said that he seemed like a meth addict.
Yeah, like a crackhead or some shit.
He was either scouting out the neighborhood or looking for a place to camp.
Which either
we have
way.
a lot of woods around us.
Yeah.
So maybe he was knocking on our door saying, hey, bud, you have a place to camp out?
No, then why the plastic bag that's like, it's like Halloween? See, my thing is that my fear would have been that if I'd seen him out there, I wouldn't have opened the door.
Yeah.
But if I'd seen him out there, I would have just grabbed the gun that's nearby. But this conversation needs to lead back to our earlier conversation about men. Lead your wives.
Yeah.
Lead the women in your life, be the leader, right? Because your sister is not a big fan of guns, and we have many big guns, and we use them to defend our property. And while I love my wife, and my wife has input when it comes to the question of how to defend the home with things like violence, I get 2 votes and she gets 1 vote. It's not really a democracy.
Well, the thing about me that is my strength is I am very good at observing things. And so, like, I'm always on high alert.
Well, yeah, maybe
like we need my brain in your body.
Your paranoia, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, hyper vigilant.
The problem with that, of course, is that you wear yourself out and you burn yourself out on too many false positives.
Yeah.
Right. You're the boy who cries wolf, and it's important. What it is you got to be like a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. You got to be, you don't have to always be reactive. You always have to have, and I teach this in the karate class on Wednesday nights, is situational awareness. Like the last few weeks, when the ladies leave the classroom, I've been walking out with them to their car because it's dark out there outside the dojo. And so I talk to them about not having their phones in their face when they walk out of a building.
Oh, yeah.
So I walk them to their car and I say, don't be shy to ask your friends to walk with you to the car. Don't be afraid to do that. It's okay to ask your friends to walk with you to your car.
Yeah.
Or if you have a bad feeling about something before you go somewhere, like just listen to your instincts, listen to your gut. And you do have a good, healthy sense of, I will say, paranoia, but there's a healthy paranoia and there's an unhealthy paranoia.
Yeah, I used to work in the middle of Detroit, and I had to park in a parking garage that was in the middle of the ghetto.
Right.
It was definitely very scary. So I always had my keys out. My driver key was like sticking out so I could use it as a weapon, I guess, puncture somebody.
Well, do you remember
and I would run to my car?
Do you remember that scene in The Sopranos where the therapist lady gets raped?
Oh, yeah.
And because she goes out to the parking garage and stuff.
That's like what I would be dealing with.
Right.
Yes.
And so she had a gut feeling it wasn't good. And she was on the phone and it was like she was distracted and she didn't trust her instincts. She should have asked Tony, the gangster, to walk her to her car, and he even offered, I think, or something like that. And it's one of those situations where situational awareness, I saw somebody said head in a swivel, buck's nasty, that those kinds of things, you have a good sense of alert, but you didn't listen to your instincts yesterday. You assumed everything was okay and you didn't come down to get us.
Right.
You were in a session.
Because I think it is. You make me feel so safe in the house that I assume that you've got it.
Right.
You are our protector. You will always see everything and protect us.
Right.
And so I think
can't
that
be everywhere.
Makes me take the back seat where I'm just like, okay, he's got it.
Well, I would get it if I knew there was a threat.
Right.
But if there's no alarm, and I'm like, We had music blaring, top blast. we had the baby next to me, and she's like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm explaining.
And the dogs
didn't hear it, and they're hanging out with us.
Kelvin is the guard dog of the house. He is in the window, front and center, always. So this was just a really weird, perfect storm situation.
Yeah, it was. But once I knew that the threat was there, we had when we need to get back to the conversation at the start of this discussion, which is there's a reason why we have firearms ready to rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because as you saw the police officer puttering by 15 minutes later, just driving by, they're friendly.
Right.
And they're not paying. You think that I missed the boat on like a 5-second, like what's uptake. They are way behind the times. So we got to be ready to kill a man at our front door to unload shotguns. And we have a protocol for you to use those guns to defend our home as well, don't we, Stephanie?
Yes. Yeah, you have taught me how to use the shotgun and the AR-15.
That's right.
I know how to
and the 1911.
I know how to use them all, but in terms of like ready to rock, the shotgun is ready to rock. I just go, and
the AR-15 is ready to rock.
You just turn it on, the fire,
flip it on, hit the fire, and we're ready. And we're ready to rock because at any point in time, something like that could go bad.
Yeah,
and so we need to be ready to pounce because there's a baby there. Right. There's a child. There's a child there. So, it's mama bear, grizzly bear territory.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm protective of our Frenchies, too, because I know how much Frenchies get stolen in our world today. And so I'm just like, you are not stealing my Frenchies.
So I could just kill a man. Yes. Thank you, Mighty Megatron, for picking up on that. How I could just kill a man. Thanks for tuning in to the Wake Up America show. You can send us a text. Let us know what's on your mind. I'm scared of checking the text messages because I haven't checked it in like 24 hours. But oh my God, there's like 7 of them. Oh my God. One listener texted in, says, loved your video on the Trump News channel entitled The History of Nassara Law and What Happens When Implemented. Boy, girl, you got the
Trump News.
You got the wrong video.
Wow. Well, that's really cool that you made it onto there.
I think she's got the wrong show. Deterrence Through Strength says Wood Hippie. That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, the thing about meth addicts that I do worry about, because I was telling you about that one meth person that started being a cannibal and like eating people.
Mm-hmm.
And then like even after being shot, like he continued to like keep attacking people.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's my fear, is that people on meth are just almost unstoppable. But then you reminded me that our guns are very powerful.
So like, and this is, our guns are very powerful. And it's like the first line of defense is the shotgun.
Yeah.
That's
a large.
They could, well, they might live if they get shot with a shotgun. If it's at too close a range, maybe not. But if they're at a medium range with the shotgun, they might live.
Yeah.
They probably will live. If it's at close range of the shotgun, probably not.
Do you keep a slug in there or a bird shot? Or deer
It's
shot?
bird shot,
Oh,
so
bird
that
shot,
it's not, because give them a chance to not die. You know what I mean? Give them a chance to not, like let them rethink their choices. They'll be picking BBs out of their ass, for 6 weeks or whatever it is, But give them a chance. So you don't want to kill people, right? But you want to, if you have to, and if they're close enough, it will kill them. But then if they're upstairs, then they're, you don't want big giant honking rounds going through the walls.
Yeah.
So you have something that, will kill, if a full-blown assault, if you're ever under assault and it's more than one guy, you're going to need more than, one, you're going to need a full mag, right? And you're going to need backup mags. So upstairs, you're dead immediately. At the door, you maybe this was just a bad idea, right? Upstairs, you're dead, right? Wrong house, sorry. But then there's just the good time, fun, happy, libertarian, epic tale. You go get the M1 Garand with the bayonet, or the Japanese.
Saying you wanted to grab the bayonet.
Now that would be so like, I don't want to kill somebody, but if you really had to. I mean, what a great news story. Like, local Japanese karate instructor at Jefferson City Parks and Rec kills intruder with World War II M1 Garand, and he used the bayonet.
filmed on Ring camera.
Yeah, it's filmed on a Ring camera.
Be posted in the neighborhood due to racial
or
profiling.
while teaching karate to his wife in their home dojo, local Japanese karate instructor kills intruder with Japanese World War II Arisaka rifle.
Yeah, it's right on our wall in our dojo.
It's right there, ready to go.
You just grab it.
I mean, come on, but you don't want that because the M1 Garand, it's a battle rifle, so it's like it'll put a hole through like the neighbor's walls, like it'll go through everything. So you don't want to shoot him with that kind of a thing because you don't want to, and the baby's asleep in the next room. You want to have something that's going to not put
our hearing would be messed up at that point.
No, I know, and that's why I really hate that the government makes it hard for us to have things like suppressors on firearms because I really want a suppressor. Robbie got me a nice blackout 300 blackout that has the 300 blackout is what I want to use for the defense, but it's been a little unreliable and it doesn't have a suppressor, but the rounds, the ammunition for it is subsonic, not supersonic, so below the sound barrier. So if you put a can or a suppressor on the end of the 300 blackout and you use subsonic ammunition, it's like it's almost movie quiet. So that's the defensive firearm that I want to move to because it won't destroy all of our hearing and I won't have to have an operation on my ears, all that stuff like that. So mufflers, suppressors, they're like mufflers. They should be encouraged. Yes, thank you. Exactly.
So in the chat, I want to hear what you all would have done if you saw this man at your door and he comes back again a few hours later, scouting out the neighbors' houses. What would you do?
Yeah.
Would you confront him? Would you stay in your house? Would you post on the neighbor app?
Or would you do what Austin did and whipped out the AK-47? Hold on, let me pull that up again. Would you do what Austin did here? Good old AP did. And look at me in my skeleton. We got in the AK-47. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You're watching the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. We're glad and thankful to have you here. Are we having a good time today on the program?
I would say so. You're going by very fast. I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah, it's 8:13 on the Wake Up America show. Yes. So, yeah, Jose MMA said that he would do the exact same thing that Austin did. There you go.
Good. Yeah, I probably, if you weren't home, I would probably be standing inside with a gun. I wouldn't go outside.
Right.
I wouldn't say I would ever recommend that I go outside.
Yeah. But and again, I really want to talk about the thing that started this conversation.
Yes, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the topic.
Can we please? Which is, your sister concerned about the guns, right? And all that kind of thing, right? I grew up in a house surrounded by firearms. Okay. They were everywhere. As a child, I knew that I could get access to these firearms at any time if I really wanted to. But from a very young age, my father took me out into the fields with a BB gun and then a 22, and he expressed to me with the seriousness of the tone of that a proper father would, to explain what this was, its importance, where it is in the house, how it's operated, what it can do, blah, 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 how you should use it, when you should use it, the proper safety techniques for using all that kind of stuff. And then once the mystery was gone, it's like, oh, well, it's kind of loud and annoying, and I don't want to be all the time. Some people love guns and they're shooting them all the time and all that kind of stuff. I like to mostly collect them and then keep them and preserve them and not shoot them all the time, right? Yeah. Because I just like to keep them nice because I look them as antiques or curios to some extent. A lot of people love to play gun Legos and get all the latest, greatest stuff. And if I was a millionaire, I would do something I'd be getting all the latest, greatest. But I like the guns that I need, the modern guns that I need for modern tactics and to defend our home, because now you see how quickly our home can be violated. Now you see how quickly someone can just decide to open up the door, walk into our house, and ruin our day.
Yeah.
And so, if you were alone, you'd rather have it there and ready and know how to use it than to be defenseless, right? Oh, what would you do, right?
Yeah.
And I've spent the last 3 years teaching you violence,
Yeah.
I've spent the last 3 years, we're working on camera 3 now. I've spent the last 3 years teaching you firearms, firearm safety, karate, situational awareness. I've taught you how to be a violent little girl because you're not a violent person naturally.
No.
You don't like hurting people. You don't like hurting things, but
I think that's probably most women. I told you recently that I have just accepted that I am a woman and there's certain things that I just won't naturally be.
Mhm.
And one of them is violent. And I know that I'm risk averse.
Mhm.
And I know that women are that way. And that's just a biological trait because we're trying to protect our children and our families. And so we're not going to go into risky situations. Whereas men, they're more risky because that's how they've been throughout history. They have to go out hunting. They have to go out to protect everybody in the village. Us women stay back.
there's
We don't have to put our life on the line.
that old George Washington quote from the Latin, "Sivi pacem para bellum."
Yes.
What does it mean?
Oh, I remember this. Pacem Parabellum. Oh my gosh, remind me.
"Sivi pacem." If you want peace.
Oh, war. Yeah, it's the war.
If
you want peace, make war.
No, if you want peace, prepare for war.
Okay.
Right, and we're prepared.
Yeah,
we're prepared.
Yeah.
I've spent a good portion of my savings investing into iron and lead and powder and all of that, so that when the zombies come, when they finally come to our door, when the meth heads, when the crackheads come, your first line of defense is dad, and then the second line of defense is you.
Yeah.
And it might have to be you. So part of you had to get used to the concept, the idea, like when I teach you how to do things like eye gouge, that you have to kind of be willingly hurt people.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be willing to hurt someone. Do you think you could do it now, Stephanie? If somebody came in, tried to break in the house and was going after Hazel, do you think you could hurt them?
I think so. With the amount of like stress that builds up in my body whenever I see a possible intruder, I feel like that would probably be channeled into some sort of insanity.
If you feel like it would,
probably be like, I'd be like yelling and screaming and just like, scratching and yeah.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced.
I'd definitely be screaming. That's for sure.
Well, yes. And you would scream all the way to your doom, unfortunately. But screaming is not enough.
Right.
Screaming is not enough.
Right.
And we go through the protocol, the firearms safety defense protocol of the home every once in a while. It's time we refreshed it.
Yeah.
That we need to every once in a while, at least once a year, just like we do with the fire. We've got the fire extinguishers around the house at key points. We need to go through that and make sure that they're up to date and they're not expired, and go through the fire protocol, because like you said, about 50% of everything that you learn and study and practice goes out the window when the danger rolls in. I was teaching the karate class this last Wednesday night, and little Daniel-san, right, chubby little kid, he's in there, he's like, struggling. He's kind of giving me like the, while I'm trying to like teach him all this kind of stuff. And, I told him, he was shocked. He was kind of like, oh, what do you mean? When I said the best way to fight is the art of fighting without fighting. He's like, fighting without fighting? He's like making this face, like I'm goofing on him, stuff like that. I was like, yeah, because you're so situationally aware of what's going on that you don't get into trouble. You're not going to get into a situation. You're going to be looking down the line.
So situationally
right
aware.
Well, you are, but this kid wasn't, and I'm trying to explain to him the art of fighting without fighting. And then we get into, some other techniques, some other defensive techniques, and you could kind of see some of the dawning realization on his face of like the concepts of awareness. And you can tell just like, he's a white belt, right? So he's completely ignorant as to like the world around him and what kind of dangers and threats might face. But the more knowledge that you have, the more prepared you are, right? Your level of paranoia, Stephanie, your skills need to come up to match the level of your paranoia.
Right.
Right. They should be on par.
Yeah.
Right. And my skills outpace my paranoia. Maybe I need to be a little bit more paranoid and
I'm the
and
lookout
watchful.
person, and then you're
Right.
the fighter. I'm like, Austin, go.
Right. But every woman should learn to fight too.
Yeah, we should.
We should. You should learn to fight. You should learn because, here's the thing. I think fewer of you would be liberals. I think fewer of you would be leftists. If every once in a while, like a man does, you got punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
If every once in a while you had a little violence done to you, because then you know what it'd be like? It'd be like Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks. Unfortunately, she got real violence. It wasn't just simulated in the dojo. She got assaulted on the street by two homeless men. And you don't know the story?
No.
Okay, it's a long story, but I'll just tell you briefly. She's
someone that
liberal.
Taught them how to be a libertarian.
I debated her at Arizona State University like a dozen years ago. As she was like a liberal. She was like starting to get famous then.
So did she just get attacked just this week?
No, it was like a year ago or 2 years ago. But the thing was she got a backlash from the left. They were saying that she's racist. She never said what ethnicity the people were.
I just say suspicious individual.
Yes. So anyway, Anna Kasparian was talking about her assault, and was.
That was you. I saw a picture of you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was me joking about how I debated her and turned her into a libertarian. But she's starting to leave the left because she was assaulted, and the left attacked her over it. The left attacked her because they said that she was a racist and that she was creating these problematic profiles of people and stuff like that. She was literally assaulted on the street, and it's things like that have woken her up. You know, she was a hardcore leftist. She's now saying things, like here it is. I found the video. It's her talking to that health fitness lady, remember?
Oh, Jillian Michaels.
Yep, here it is.
Out here. Mm-hmm. Me too. Okay. Nothing was crazy like this, right?
No, I got the wrong video up. Hold on.
Crime.
But I do remember
advocating for the medicalization of children.
Those advocates that were like leftist advocates, and they were on the street in New York, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw this like homeless man. Do you remember the situation? And it was a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And the boyfriend basically was like confronting this like homeless man, and he's like, get away. And the homeless man ended up stabbing him to death. And the girlfriend was like screaming and like not doing anything.
Right.
But they were all about like not racially profiling. And I remember after he died, they wanted a GoFundMe pay for missing work because of his funeral.
Oh, you're talking about that? It was that guy in Brooklyn.
Yeah, they were like
they were both communists.
Yeah,
and social justice Dems.
Advocates for like basically the people that ended up killing this guy.
Yeah. It was, so they were advocating for the guy that murdered the white guy. Can you imagine, like, you think this is your girlfriend, you're going on a date with this communist bitch, and you go out there and you get stabbed in front of her, and like you could see he was like pushing away with the sister.
He was instigating.
No, he wasn't instigating. They were trying to get away from this guy. He was just this crazy, deranged, lunatic on the street, pulled out a knife, and he's like, trying to push him away. You know what I mean? And like the girl is just like, doing nothing.
Right.
And then the whoever the attacker was, stabbed the dude. It doesn't just kept stabbing. And
the girlfriend's just like standing there.
She's just standing there, and it's like, and then the guy is this leftist, this Brooklyn communist, and he's just like, it's like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Like, they just were.
I would have run away.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, somewhere in hell, that communist is looking up and going and looking up at what's going on. This and being like, I can't believe that I actually bought into all that garbage. It got me killed. It got him killed because he died for that, because he was such a, I don't want to use this word in like the sexual connotation, but I want to use it in the connotation of how we would use this word in the 80s. So if this offends you, you're in the wrong place. But I mean, like, he was just kind of acting like a fag. He was acting like a weak little fag. And that kind of like behavior, that weakness, that, you show you're a victim. Like, you broadcast your victimhood. You're like, come and attack me, right? And all that kind of stuff. He's not a gay man. He was dating that woman. I'm not using fag in the sexual sense. No, I'm just, I'm sure he does. But he's a weak He's a weak little fag. And so he attracted, when you're weak, it invites danger.
Yeah.
Right. And again, this is why I never
So
could.
do you think Anna Kasparian is weak?
No, I think that she got attacked. She got assaulted and she got mugged by reality. I think that what happened is, and this is a 7-minute long clip. I'll try and find the shorter part of this one, but let's just listen and see if we can't hear her explain this. Sorry, guys. The internet, the technology, everything around me is exploding this morning. At least Hazel is sleeping. The one thing is working.
Yeah, we have to get you a new computer.
Yeah, I got to go buy a new laptop.
Defending myself, I didn't know. But as I was bending down to pick up my dog's mess, one of the guys like grabs me by my hips, and he had an erection.
Oh, God.
And just starts like humping me. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I was terrified. I didn't have a weapon on me.
Yep.
Like, I had no way of defending myself. I didn't know how far it was going to go because it's two guys. I'm by myself with my little dog. It was one of the most terrifying things ever because I'm pretty good at defending myself. In that moment, I just knew there was no option.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, then you weren't good at defending yourself.
Did
So
she say
I
she
opened up
did
about
have
this
a
on the
gun
show.
on her?
Nope.
Oh,
she did not have a gun. She did not have a weapon. She did not have pepper spray. She did not have a knife. She had nothing. She's a leftist woman with a little dog on the streets of Los Angeles, and two homeless men grabbed her by the hips and thrust their erect member at her. She's wearing a little skirt, and she was
Not
attacked.
really thinking much of it. And before I know it, I'm starting to get these messages, and it's like really, really harsh stuff. And
From the
it's
left.
about how you are painting a picture of the homeless community. You know, how could you be like this? You know, these are your unhoused neighbors and they need help. A few people accused me of being racist when I had never disclosed the race of the individuals who did this to me. And in fact, they were white. And so like when they started accusing me of being racist, I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you assuming that the people who did
Well,
this?
of course.
Yeah, like I think you might have a problem here.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that woke.
But here's the thing. That woke her up. She says,
that woke me up because I'm like, oh my god,
They eat their own, mama.
let me just, there are women out there who are not woken up and they're voting for Kamala Harris. They're voting to be assaulted. They're voting to be assaulted by violent criminals on the street. You're voting typically women, you think you're voting like, oh, I want to keep my reproductive rights. I want to, slice and dice the baby 100 million times, as many times as I can, as I want to. But you're voting to be assaulted.
That's why they want to keep their rights so that they can be assaulted on the street.
And
then abort the baby afterwards.
Some of these leftist women have those kinds of fantasies.
Yeah.
They fetishize being assaulted and raped by, foreigners that run loose on the streets from Venezuela by Venezuelan gangs. Anna Kasparian is not one of them.
No.
And this changed her because it wasn't just the event itself that changed her. She became a real victim, Stephanie. A real victim, not a fake victim that like the left wants to get with their diversity hires, right? They cast her out because it's just like when we couldn't post the video yesterday on the Ring app. We've tried to post the crackhead that came to our door on the Ring app. We couldn't post it on the Neighbors app because we were accused of racially profiling, even though we didn't say the race of the person. It was just a man who came to our door,
right,
who happened to be black.
Yeah.
But you're voting for that. You're voting for more crackheads coming to your door and doing what they want with impunity. You're voting for more crackheads assaulting you on the street, migrant gang members assaulting you ladies on the street. You're voting to allow violence to be done to yourselves. You're voting not only against your own personal safety interests, you're voting against the safety interest of all of us.
Right.
Because of this one thing that the ladies are enthralled with, entirely and completely centered and focused on. And I don't see them really making big deal out of other issues. Like I don't hear a lot of female voices.
I think they talk about pollution too.
Well, here's the environment and the vagina.
Yeah.
I don't hear a lot of women speaking up when it's time for us to talk about international trade.
No.
The ladies don't, but if we ever...
Unless it has to do with the trade of tampons.
There you go. But yeah, exactly, right? It's like, oh, we're interested now because it's about our vaginas.
Yes.
I don't hear a lot of women speaking up typically when we're having a debate about foreign policy, unless it's, the Jewish ladies for Israel.
Yeah.
But I don't hear a lot of women speaking up, unless it's to when men are having a discussion about the issues that the women don't tend to take an interest in. They decide to interject sexuality into it for whatever reason. So we'll be having a perfectly normal conversation, then it's like, hey, look at my tits. You know, we having a distraction.
The boobs for Trump, lady.
Bobs for Trump and vagina, right? So I just wonder, like, you know, we talk about like men being these sexual creatures, and with abandon, we have to repress their desires and all those kinds of things. But like, can you please control yourselves? Like, is it possible that we can have a conversation that it doesn't have to be about your vagina? It would be nice if all the simp hucks out there would stop bowing down to the golden cult, the sacred cult of the golden vagina, and stop simping, and stop being distracted by these thoughts, and start focusing and stay focused on the issues that matter. Stay focused on self-improvement.
I think us women, we really have like misunderstood the man, in that we think that in order to be listened to and in order to get attention from a man, we have to sexualize ourselves. Because I know I felt that way when I was younger, and I thought that's how it was too. Where like the only way that a man is ever going to respect me or show me any interest is sexually. So I think that's what these women think online when they're, you know, like boobs for Trump and all that. They think this is the only way that I can make a difference.
Yeah, just show my tits.
Yeah. Because it works, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
because of the simps and
the simps.
And
right? The men enable it.
Liking it.
The men enable it.
Right.
But just like, here's the thing, just like there are very, you know, overall, very few people who are interested in the ideals that you and I are interested in, right? The classical ideas of true liberalism, right? That when it comes to men, very few men are able to resist the siren's song.
Yeah.
There's an ancient, speaking of the classics, there's the tale of Odysseus. And in it is a very important metaphor for men's sexual weakness, which is the tale of the sirens. Have you ever heard of the phrase "a siren song"?
No.
The siren song. He was brought in by the siren's tale. No. Well, in the Odyssey, Homer.
Oh, I've heard of them.
The main character, I think Odysseus, Homer wrote the Odyssey. In one of the tales is that Odysseus, there's an island that he sails past, that when sailors pass it, they see these, they're not harpies, but they're basically like mermaids, essentially, like before mermaids existed, it was this concept of like half serpent, half woman.
Okay.
And they have a song they sing. It's a beautiful song. And they're beautiful. They're bare-chested, right? They're very, seductive. And no man who hears the siren song can resist.
Right.
And in the Odyssey, Odysseus decides that he wants to hear the siren song. And in order to hear the song without being bewitched by them, because the song they drag sailors to their death. And there's another myth out there. It's called a rusalka, which is a similar myth from like Romania. But the Odysseus demands that his soldiers and sailors put beeswax in their ears so that they won't be able to hear the siren song. No. And then he orders that they lash him to the rig. So they tie him up, his hands, and as he says, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, do not allow me to go free. And he wanted to be able to hear the siren song, but also not be able to do anything about it, so that he would go off to his death.
Right.
And so the metaphor there is the power of evil women to drag men to their death.
Oh yeah, they're very powerful.
They are. They're very powerful. So but the metaphor, the lesson there is that men have to be strong against women's sexual desire to use their sexuality to drag them into the pit of hell.
Yeah.
To kill them, to murder them. I mean, the metaphor applies to things like spies during war, for example, right?
Oh,
where women are using their
sexuality,
right? and things like that.
Absolutely. And that's what's happening now with this whole Kamala thing.
Yes. Blue Trike says, if you're talking about the Odysseus, the men's libido, don't forget Calypso. I did forget Calypso. So if you wouldn't mind reminding us over the chat. Good morning, guys. Did you guys expect that the Odyssey would be brought up? Ancient Homer and the classics on the Wake Up America show, all because some crackhead came to our front door,
So smart.
No, I'm not as smart as Blue Trike. He remembers Calypso. Dad Bob Baboon says, don't be fooled by those big old communist titties. Exactly, yes.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
I mean, men throughout history have always had to listen to women. If women want something, they try their darndest to get it for them.
Yeah, they'll do anything.
Yes.
They'll do anything.
And we
debase
women
themselves.
know that. We know we can wrap men around our fingers.
Yep.
And so there's Jezebels all around the world.
Yes, there are. Look at you using the word Jezebels. All right, you Jezebel, you stay back. I know. But back, you harpy, I have to do a live read for Rumble. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. It flies. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden-Harris administration. Facebook suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story so they could get in good with the Biden administration. Rumble did not. They're attacked daily for giving a voice to talk to you. They're attacked in corporate media. They're attacked by governments. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble's fighting to keep it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask for you, but if you really believe in this fight, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. I am a Rumble Premium member. If I were not, you would see the green Rumble studio in the top right hand, left hand, whatever corner. But I support them financially every month, and they supported me. We get their back. They get our back. Let's support Rumble. Join this community that believes in the First Amendment and free speech, and I imagine the Second Amendment as well. They're offering $10 off right now, their annual membership. You can go to rumble.com/premium. Use the code STUDIO. That's rumble.com/premium, and use that promo code STUDIO. We appreciate the boys and the girls, the goyles, over at rumble.com. Thank you very much for that Rumble Studio live read. Stephanie, where were we?
So anyways, well, originally, where this whole conversation came from was 3 reasons why Kamala is going to lose. We never got
to the third one?
No.
Here's the third one.
We were stuck on number 2, and that's how we got down this long.
Well, also, you brought up the fact that your sister didn't like the guns around, but then
had to do with number 2.
Right.
Yes.
Third, when she responded on The View that there wasn't a thing that came to her mind that she would have done differently than President Biden, Ms. Harris confirmed the substance-free foundation of her cause by placing no distance between herself and the failures of her partner. Either she couldn't find a way to escape her baked-in California Bay Area political culture, or she was flummoxed by her own slippery evasions from left-wing orthodoxy. Nevertheless, there's an empty hole where potential leaders of the free world must have a strong message. She has filled it with a bizarre notion that if she loses, Mr. Trump would establish fascism in America. Do you remember that situation that I had recently where I had to choose between lying and telling the truth? And it was a big question that I had to do. It was like, what should I do in this situation?
Yes.
And I was like, I have to tell the truth.
Yes.
And I was like, because I'm not smart enough to lie.
Yeah, lying is actually really hard. That's why I'm not a good liar, because then you have to remember what you lied about so you can be consistent. And that's the hard part.
And that's the situation with Kamala Harris, right? She's caught in so many lies because she's like, oh, well, we're not going to take your guns away. And then yesterday, the White House administration posted the thing that we're going to ban assault weapons and we're going to take the guns, right? So when you're flip-flopping all over the place, you can't remember what you said, how you said it, because you're not saying what you actually believe. You're just saying what you think you need to say to get elected. So if Kamala Harris loses, part of it is going to be because of the fact that she was slippery and slipped up on her own lies. She hoisted by her own petard, right?
What she uses to get around all those lies is she laughs. So, she says something, she'll be like, we're not taking away, or she'll be like, we're not taking away your guns, with her little accents.
Yes, whichever accent on that day.
So then at the end, she can be like, oh, I was just joking.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Everything is always followed with a laugh. So at the end of the day, she can just be like, oh, it's just jokes. I was just laughing it off, having fun.
JD Vance appeared on Joe Rogan yesterday.
He is. I like him.
Yeah, I've got good vibes from JD Vance. Don't agree with him on everything, but I think overall he's a competent leader.
I definitely question why they went on Joe Rogan, why that was such an important interview. That's definitely not a place to win the woman vote. I'm going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of women like Joe Rogan.
No, but here's the thing. We don't really need you to like Joe Rogan.
But I think you all need the woman vote right now.
That may be true to a certain extent.
You all meaning the
Joe
Republicans.
Rogan is kind of like, it is the metaphorical place we go to get away from you.
I know. It's the man cave.
Yeah, it's the man cave. It's the place that we go, and it's not that you're not welcome.
Right.
You're absolutely welcome.
We just
But here's the but as no, I understand exactly. I don't watch whatever stupid sex podcast that Kamala Harris went on, Call Her Daddy, right? Like again, it's all about the vagina, right?
Yeah.
We're not always, surprisingly, shockingly enough, we're not always thinking about and talking about vagina when we're doing that. You're not the center of our universe always at every point in time.
I know.
And I think that really is part of the problem that the women don't like, is that like when we have our places that are our spots, you want to invade our places.
Yeah.
You want to destroy our places. You don't understand it, but this isn't for us. We're not making it for you. It's not about you. Not everything is about you, right?
It's like, oh, the man vote counts. What?
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that this election more than any in recent years has been in some small part about us men.
Yeah.
The conversation about black men,
Yeah.
white dudes for Harris, like the question of what role men play in this society. And that has been a big part of this conversation in this election. It's an important conversation. You're like, why? I don't get it. Well, I go to Rogan. It's okay. We understand. We it's not for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everything is for you. But I think that we are going to advance as a society when women can, and I know that they'll never be 100% like this, but maybe 10% more back the fuck off and leave us alone for a little bit to do things in peace.
Yeah.
So that but the problem is that I think women fear that men would have the type of solidarity that women have now.
Yeah.
That you don't want us to collaborate together, to work together too well, because then we might conspire against you the way.
Leave us and go to the strip club.
No. Then men might conspire against you the way that you're conspiring with the cult of the vagina against us.
Right.
And I would suggest that it is time for men to work together a little bit more. And men are so on an island of loneliness right now in a society. They're killing themselves at a phenomenal rate. The problems that you are a social worker, you deal with the mental health struggles of men, and you see how lonely these men are and how they struggle with relationships in this world that does not leave them alone and is constantly stimulating them with sex or drugs or join this cult, join that cult, right? Accept the teachings of the church, blah, 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 right? Here's the dogma handed down. And the mainstream media does the same thing. Accept the teachings of our Lord and Savior, ABC News, and believe everything that ABC News says and does, right? But, I think we should, we've been kind to them. There's 1,000 people. Can we go a little bit in overtime, Stephanie? Are you good with that?
Oh, sure. I came in a little bit late due to the
I tell you,
baby.
I know we started a little bit late.
Oh, did we get to the baby
We
bonus
just started. No, we
contest?
haven't. I don't know if we've hit 100. I think we might have. I'll check.
She's sleeping.
So I would say that, 15, let's give him an extra 15 minutes. Let's go to 9:15 this morning if you want to hang out, everybody.
Absolutely.
You guys want to do a little overtime? We'll give you 9:15. I got a new employee starting.
He's coming at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
So we have to be home by 10.
We'll make it by 10. So the show will end at 9:15 this morning. But if you appreciate what we're doing here on the Wake Up America show, and if you appreciate that I share my family with you, please, can you bless me with something?
Can you bless me with something?
Oh, gosh.
Money-wise. Please.
Can you suck it?
What?
I don't know if did Camellia get here? Did Camellia miss the story about the intruder that came on our property yesterday? If so, you're going to definitely,
did.
yeah, you're going to want to see those videos and go walk that back, Camellia, a little bit later if you can. So it's nice to see you, CJ. Thanks for hanging out. We've got 1,000 people watching us live over at rumble.com. Isn't that amazing?
It is. They must like what we're talking about.
We're really grateful to have so many people joining us live this morning who have no idea who we are. I'm Austin Peterson. They call me AP for Liberty, the Freedom Ninja because I do a little karate. And the Japanese karate instructor here for Jefferson City. We haven't been really paying close attention to the chat this morning, although we have a little bit. You can send us a text, and it's easier for us to catch it at 573-319-1586. Again, the text line is 573-319-1586. Follow the channel on Rumble. You have to click that follow button so you can find us again, because I just don't expect people to be like, oh, yeah, AP for Liberty. I'm going to memorize that guy and find his show on Monday. No, I expect that you are a normal, living, breathing, functional human adult who gets up early and has a life and probably doesn't think about things like that. But you enjoy the commentary, you're enjoying the show, and you want to come back and join us on Monday at 7 a.m. Central Time. So if you do, just click the follow button. That's the fastest, easiest way to find us again Monday morning, so you know when we go live on the Wake Up America show. We're not the only show. Last night, Culturama and Liberty Tonight, they did a fantastic job on their Halloween specials.
I know. I was so surprised that people were watching shows on Halloween, but you reminded me that a lot of people are just like sitting in their living room waiting for trick-or-treaters. So you need something to watch.
Yes. Amy J.E. is one of our big supporters here online. She's in the chat. She says, historically, women have been a little bit more than chattel throughout the ages. Most women still act like nothing has changed. Really good point. And I would even venture, if I may be so bold as to suggest that the idea of women being like chattel slaves or something like that, you could point at certain times in history and say, yes, you make that argument.
In the 1950s, they pretty much had to bow down to their husband, do what the husband said, or else they get a spanking.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad, actually. It sounds kind of nice.
We're trying to bring that back now. Yeah.
Can you bless me with something?
Oops, wrong button. No.
The trad wives.
Yes, you're making it sound amazing, actually. So speaking of trad wives, watch Culturama Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central on rumble.com/Culturama. No. My point with this is just that I would contend, if I may be so bold, that it's not so much that women were like chattel slaves. It was just that from a perspective of survival, right? In terms of the hierarchy of needs, like women talking about their butts on video cameras for a living is a bit of a luxury. And I would contend that maybe 100, 150 years ago, that the reason why women felt so oppressed is because we kind of all were oppressed. Like, it wasn't like men had lots of choices to try. We were all trying to not starve to death on the Oregon Trail, And so historically, when you talk about women were nothing more than child slaves, well, it's kind of like because physical strength was really prized and valued, and we really needed men to make the wilderness a field of flowers and poppies and build log cabins we had to build. You wanted a crib for your baby? Oh, well, you're in the cupboard, or you're going to be in a little box that if your husband can work with wood, he can do, right?
Remember, Sacagawea was with Lewis and Clark. Okay.
Yes.
Sacagawea was a woman.
Right.
Paving the way. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like when you're in survival mode, certain things have to be a priority.
Right.
And a woman is not a priority when you're trying to survive.
Right. And so understand that, I know it's really important for women to slice and dice the babies in the womb and to talk about their buttholes with presidential candidates on camera. And I'm glad that, you're free enough at that point, but maybe have a little bit of perspective, ladies, and recognize that historical oppression was historical oppression. We were all very oppressed. You lived a brutish, short, sad life as a coal miner from Kentucky. And if you were a coal miner's daughter, that used to mean that your daddy didn't live very long because he got the black lung pop going down into the cave or whatever to bring up the thing. And maybe he died in a cave collapse and things like that. Life was nasty, brutish, and short for all of us. Women tended to live longer, not just because of the risk decisions that men are making today, but also perhaps they had to do those risky things in order to keep the family going and to feed their wife and kids and things like that.
I agree. I mean, I really do think women are the weaker sex. I'm going to say it.
In what way?
Emotionally, physically. And maybe it's just how men are socialized, but also probably it helps the hormones that you have in your body, but it's like emotionally, you're so much more logical.
I'm going to need you to really extrapolate in a deep way on this. Profound. I need you to really get profound on this subject and expand on this. Okay.
Right.
Go.
Well, that's why we don't really like Joe Rogan, is because there's no emotion on the Joe Rogan show. And us women, like, we need that deep, sensitive emotion because that's how we are. So that's how we're weaker. We let emotion lead us. Just like if an intruder comes in, it's like, I feel that emotion. I feel scared. I feel stressed. I want to cry.
Right.
Whereas a man is just like, hey, I'm logical. Let's go do this thing.
Right.
Rather than crying at the door and screaming. You very rarely hear a man screaming when something bad is happening. Right. We always hear the women screaming on the TikTok videos whenever there's a problem.
If you are the weaker sex, I mean, and therefore are unable to contribute, we want to say you absolutely have individual natural rights as a human being, as a matter of humanity. But it's like, should you get equal say? Like, you get a say. Right. But like, for example, at home, it's best if, when it comes to the guns, I have 2 votes and you have 1 vote, right? Right? Because at the end of the day,
you're going to use them.
The bad guy comes in the door. It's my life on the line.
Exactly.
You know, I'm the one who, yes, he does have a knife. Like Bill Burr used to joke on his stand-up sketch, right? Yeah. Yes, honey, he does have a knife. Right? So it's kind of like, for that reason, I get 2 votes on where the guns are in the house and their status of whether they're loaded and safety and what they are. Now, I listen to you and I take your counsel and I listen to your feedback, and then I weigh the considerations of the relative dangers, right, to our home and our family from accidental discharge, which is a real threat. Yeah. Right, to our family or our baby, right? Those kinds of situations. I have to weigh those considerations.
Right.
But after a careful consideration and listening to you and your feedback, I still make the decision. Not you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do. It's hard to say, but I do think we are the weaker sex in terms of if we should be equal in terms of like voting. That would be really messy if we weren't. If we got like half a vote, that would be terrible.
Right. Well, that's
women are stronger than others.
That's my mom was really strong.
Right.
My mom was a strong woman.
Your mom deserved a full vote. But then some other women who are just weepy and crying all the time, maybe they don't deserve a full vote. But how can you really say this person deserves it? This person.
I think that's sad. The sad thing is that, like, we can't even define what a woman is in some extent. Is that like. It's very popular for like left-wing pundits to say men are in a crisis in this country. And we talked about this on the show kind of ad nauseum to some extent. It's like, if men are in a crisis, there's no scenario where women aren't in a crisis too. And while there's been a lot of examination in recent years about the problems men are facing and all our struggles and our toxic masculinity and all these things, but there really only is a few people kind of like, I know that this is going to infuriate Camellia when I say this name, but Pearl Davis, for example.
Yeah.
Pearl is an example of someone who doesn't take women's side.
Right.
Because when we talk about the cult of the sacred vagina and the sisterhood and all that kind of stuff, you will vote for Kamala. You will have solidarity despite it not even being in your best interest. Like, you're voting to get assaulted by homeless people in the streets.
Right.
You're not even really voting in your best interests. You're voting because the sisterhood is telling you to do something. Yeah. Right.
The sisterhood of the traveling pants.
Right. It's got like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a big, strong man, right? He's like a governor, bodybuilder. He's saying vote for Kamala.
Yeah. He likes Kamala.
Do you think that like I could be pressured by Arnold Schwarzenegger to vote for Kamala Harris?
Back in the 80s and 90s in his heyday, some men might be swayed.
Some men, right?
He turned straight men gay.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
A bodybuilder or two that have been in love with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There will always be simps. There will always be simps. But there is no patriarchy because there is no male solidarity. We don't stand in solidarity as men. There is no. I saw Jennifer Lopez was talking about that. She's trying to talk about the Puerto Rican thing and all that stuff and speaking out for Kamala Harris. She's like, Latina, Latinas and Latinos are very strong and proud and stuff like that. And like, I kind of was like, yeah, just like me, white men, we're strong and proud. We white men are going to resist you minorities and women, and we're going to fight against you with all the power of our masculinity and our whiteness. And we're going to use our whiteness to suppress you and take away your rights. That's the threat, the threat of violence that they offer for us, white men. But there is no reciprocal solidarity other than the white nationalist, white supremacist Nazis, right? They're the ones who are like, yeah, our white solidarity of masculinity and all that kind of stuff. Ironically, they're led by like a little like gay Mexican, like effete, like homosexual style guy who like talks about lifting weights and working out. Like I've been seeing some Fuentes clips this week. They glommed on to Donald Trump saying, I didn't want to lift weights and I don't do it and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's a failing, you know, like it's not okay to not like take care of your body as a man. Like we have responsibilities and obligations and things like that to do certain things. I think to achieve peak manhood, our physical capabilities are an important part of that. And you've seen that since you've known me.
I mean, I really think, gosh, I'm going down a dark hole.
Go down the dark hole.
I really think us women hold you back. We do. We really restrain you guys. Like, you know, we've talked to a lot of men in the liberty movement, and a lot of times we hear, if we ask them for something, if we ask them like, oh, hey, can you do this thing with us like on the weekend? Or, hey, you know, would you like to donate for Liberty Network? They'll say, I have to go ask my boss. And their boss is the woman in their life. And I think that is so sad. I really do. But the woman has all the power in the relationship. And if she says no, then it's no. Even though like the man does know what's good for the family, I really do think men know how to think logically, but for some reason they turn to their boss.
Here's a woman who is on her way to escaping the matrix. She's almost out. She hasn't completely become based and red pilled yet, as you'll hear in this clip. But this is a woman who is undergoing an awakening. She is undergoing maybe a spiritual awakening for sure. Take a listen to this.
Can we just please not provide cover for our leaders when they make mistakes like this? That was a terrible mistake that Biden made. It should not be justified. Again, if you're a private citizen and you have your personal views about the Republican electorate, that's on you and that's your business. You have not taken an oath to represent the country. You're not the president of the United States. And I don't know why anyone would think it's a good idea to celebrate or applaud political culture in this country that allows for the president to just regularly trash tens of millions of people that he himself is supposed to be representing. That is not a good culture to set. And things will just continue devolving. I don't think that this is a winning thing to do. I'm not proud of what Biden did. And honestly, the thing that frustrates me even more is that after he made those statements, even though he was on video making those statements, a bunch of people are totally gaslighting about how it didn't happen. It's totally made up. It's fake.
Yeah, this has become a big controversy in 24 hours.
Exactly, me and garbage people.
Garbage people. So this is a fascinating story, and I had it pulled up here somewhere. So the White House stenographer, there is a controversy for what he called us, right? What his term is, and I can pull up the clip. I have it here somewhere. When he referred to us as garbage, Trump supporters as garbage, the White House, their spin is that there was an apostrophe in his comments about garbage, like calling us Trump supporters again, garbage. So I have somewhere the video of the stenographer, or the story of the stenographer, the White House stenographer. But please be patient with me. My laptop is like dying. Stenographer, White House, Biden.
Truly feel that the people on the right are immoral and they're evil. They really feel that in their core.
Right.
And so when he says garbage people, I think a lot of the people on the left would identify with that.
Yes. White House altered Biden garbage transcript without the stenographer's approval. The White House changed the official transcript of President Joe Biden's disputed remarks regarding former President Donald Trump's supporters. White House press aides also made changes to the transcript stenographed by career non-political federal employees on Tuesday, according to the Associated Press. According to the original transcript, Biden told the Latino advocacy organization Voto Latino during a campaign call, "The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable and it's un-American." But the transcript released by the White House's press office included an apostrophe. So it read supporters something, right? And not supporters, meaning the people themselves.
Their garbage? The supporters'
correct.
garbage?
Their supporters' garbage.
Oh.
Right. So he's not saying your garbage, he's saying it's your garbage that you own, right? So the White House
stuff. They're junk.
Exactly. So this is a scandal. This is a big scandal with the White House because the stenographers are the ones who keep the track of everything the president says. These are nonpartisan federal agency employees, and they did not include an apostrophe on this. The press aides did, and the stenographers were not told that they were going to add that apostrophe, because the question is, what is the context of what Biden is saying there? Who is he calling? Biden.
So we need to re-say the sentence then.
Do you want to hear the
apostrophe?
I read it to you.
See if it makes sense.
It doesn't, because here, let me read it to you. Again.
He also doesn't make sense in a lot of his sentences.
Exactly. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
His supporters' garbage.
Right. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable and it's un-American. So his press aides included an apostrophe in there to make it appear as if he wasn't calling the supporters themselves garbage.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. Or Puerto Rico, where I'm.
The only garbage is his supporters.
Yes.
I think that's what he said.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
It's his supporters. Yeah, it doesn't seem like an apostrophe to me.
No, is his supporters garbage?
Because what garbage does his supporters have? Their guns?
Mm-hmm.
When we throw our guns in the water?
Yeah. Dustin Lydiot said, "Yeah, like they don't call us Nazis. Interesting how that never gets light. Oh, probably because they cannot pull off cover for it." Yeah. Right. So it's like, oh, we're supposed to be like, oh, he wasn't calling you garbage, but you are a Nazi. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're not garbage, but you're literally Hitler.
Yeah, I saw some post by Kamala the other day that was like, oh, we don't name call, we don't judge like Trump does, and I'm like, what? Did you call him?
You're calling us Nazis.
How's that not?
They were calling the Madison Square Garden rally, like that's what they were calling. They were saying was a Nazi rally. Anyways, real quick before we got, because we're getting towards the end now, I know a lot of people who watch my show because they were really excited about the other day when I told them that we're giving away free stickers. Stickerpack.com. So Sticker Mule is the company. They've got for a limited time only, you can grab some free Trump stickers. Totally free. Whether you want to decorate your laptop, your car, your office space, here's how it works. Go to stickerpack.com. That's stickerpac.com. Sign up, claim your free stickers, and they will send them out to you. It's an exclusive offer. The stock is limited. They're asking you to act fast. Spread the word. Let your voice be heard with Sticker Mule's awesome stickers. It's stickerpack.com. Grab your free Trump stickers before they're gone. Thank you very much, Rumble Studio.
Free stuff. That's good.
Yeah, free stickers. Dustin, idiot, but it doesn't matter. It does matter, damn it, Dustin. We're glad to have you here. Hey, Dustin, we hope that you'll follow the show and come back and join us again on Monday. My wife, Stephanie, joins us live here. Sweetheart, beautiful wife, Stephanie.
As long as the baby is not crying, I am here in this seat.
Friday is Freedom Family Friday, which means that I bring my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wifey, Stephanie, in. And I'm pretty sure we've hit $100. I'm not 100% certain, but I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt and say we'll get you the bonus baby before we leave today so you can see the baby.
She behaved. Thank goodness.
Yeah, Dustin said, you said laptop got me going. Yeah, I got to go get a new gaming laptop. Either got to Amazon it next day or whatever, because this thing shut down twice on the stream this week.
And it was freezing this morning.
Freezing this morning, and I need a laptop for my employees. So it's like, looks like I'm doing there goes another chunk of my cash out the door. It's so rough. But at least we'll the spending of this year, and hopefully we'll be able to write some of it off of our taxes, right? Taxes, just put it on the taxes for God's sake.
That's what the accountants say, at least.
We're doing a little bit of overtime because we started late and because we love you guys, and we have an absolute blast hanging out with our audience. We love hanging out with you guys.
I love these chats. I could talk about philosophy and politics all day long.
We've been talking about we said probably some of the most sexist things that we've right.
Some realizations today.
Let's hear them.
Bringing to you women.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's just because I notice when I'm being emotional and I'm just like, gosh, I know other women are like 100 times more emotional than me. And so it's like that's even worse. So I realize that our emotions do drive a lot of what we do.
Yeah, they do. And that leads one to quite. The thing is that we're not even allowed to talk about that, right? In polite society, we're not allowed to have conversations about how your emotions get the better of you. Here's Vivek Ramaswamy having a conversation with a young woman voter in Pennsylvania. Take a listen.
You know, being a man of color, when exactly was America great? What period was America great?
That's a good question.
And if America was great in that period, would you personally go back to it?
Would I go back to 2016 through 2020 in this country? I would, actually. I think America was great.
Why do you think America was great?
Was America great for most of our national history? I think we were, actually. I think America was great.
During slavery, during redlining, Jim Crow laws, civil rights movement.
I think, was America perfect? No. Was America great? Yes, it was, actually. Actually, I do think it was.
A very big extreme that
it is. Even during the years of slavery, America was still a great nation. We were like compare the United States at any time in its history to another country at that time in its history. And you could say, well, the British Empire was greater maybe in like 1812 and they beat us in that war. Was America great? I mean, still it was, yeah, because we still had Jefferson and Washington. We had the Revolution. We still won there were so many factors. So yeah, even during the years of Jim Crow, as terrible as it was, compare the United States to the rest of the world. And were there countries that didn't have those problems? Sure. But it wasn't so great in lots of other countries as well. Still isn't,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe we should answer this question. What would we go back to? And
1880s.
I think I would go back to the 1990s.
1990s. Good stuff. Yes.
Because, when would you like to live? I would want to live during a time when I'm happy and when I felt like the world was the most solid and everyone was working.
Latrell, the brothers in the chat says, bitch, you and I are black. Name any freaking country that didn't have a period of racial discrimination.
Oh,
I'll wait. Damn.
You can say that. You have privilege here.
From now on, it's going to be
right, Latrell?
America first, okay?
There you go.
First.
There you go. Steffi, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I would go back to the 90s because in watching the movies from the 90s, people were able to make racial jokes. They were able to make jokes about gay people, trans people, like Mrs. Doubtfire, for example. It was just fun and smooth and nobody was so serious. So I would not go back to 2016 to 2020, not just because of COVID, but because I just don't feel like people are that happy and connected.
Yeah. Well, it's starting to get towards the end of the show. I like to always end with some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Here's JD Vance's Kamala Harris impression.
Yeah, right. It's like
yes. That's very good.
She's just speaking to the choir, and it sounds really pretty.
Yeah, it's that, and it's just I think she's just out of her league, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's not ready for prime time. She's never been ready for prime time, but it's not her. She's not the one who's going to decide what happens. It's going to be women who are voting like this.
Fucking disrespectful.
Look what she's doing. She's on my property, taking my flag.
I'm not.
This is my truck. Get away from my truck. Get away from my truck, a crazy lady. Please. What are you doing right now?
You're a fucking ass.
What are you doing right now? Here's your license plate. What do you, lady?
Look at
Please
this.
get away from my vehicle.
Oh my
I
gosh.
have to go to work. I'm gonna go get the cops involved.
I don't think she works.
Get away from
No,
my
she's a
vehicle
Democrat. She didn't work.
Yeah, she's probably retired.
cut me
What
off.
gives you the right to
Free,
have
this is America, and this is a free country. Get away from my vehicle, or I'm gonna press charges on you. Get away from my vehicle right now and get on the road. What are you doing right now?
Women's are so
like a-
entitled.
She feels entitled
And this
to put her hands on other people's property.
Well, this is how women operate. We
Yes.
love to boss men around,
Mhm.
and usually they listen to us. And
Yes.
she has been listened to one too many times.
Yes.
And she thinks she can just do whatever she wants with whatever man
Why do you think that your mother likes me so much?
because you don't let her boss you around.
Goddamn right.
We think we want to boss around men, but really we don't.
Who's the boss?
You. Whenever somebody says to me, "Oh, can you donate this money?" or "Oh, can you, go do this thing?" I'll say, "I actually need to ask my husband. He doesn't have to ask me. My schedule goes around you, to be quite honest." I'm serious. It does. It does.
It's patriarchy.
Yeah, any expense I make, I ask you. Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Do I ask you?
No.
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 No. Why?
Well, you make your own money. I mean, you're a provider, so
Yeah.
so you can spend it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna go spend it on a $2,000 laptop.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt. So
As long as it doesn't affect me and Hazel and the food that we put in our mouths,
Nice.
that's fine.
do us a favor. Help us get a new laptop for the stream. Go to forlibertyshop.com. Buy yourself a box of delicious coffee. Look at that delicious coffee. Founding flavors. Don't you want a box?
Yeah.
Those are my 3 favorites that I featured this week at forlibertyshop.com. You can get a box of delicious coffee. Help us to support getting us a new laptop and help us to take away the rights of people like Amy J.E.'s. Just kidding.
Oh, do we have to get the baby out now?
Oh, go get the baby. Yes. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been supporting us financially so far to help us to unlock that bonus content. That goes a long way. I'm pretty sure we hit $100. I'm not 100% sure. But you're going to go to For Liberty Shop anyway as we exit through the Grift Shop, so it's not going to be a big deal, right? Right? So, pretty sure we hit 1,000. So that means that we get to bring out the baby. The Wake Up America show. We don't have her on the bonus baby cam. Do you want to bring her over to the baby cam, or you want to just bring her on the set? Okay, bring the baby on the set. The beautiful little, see, these women are on my time. They do what I say. Daddy's in charge. We've got 2 Rosie the Riveters in the house. Go to forlibertyshop.com as you exit the Grift Shop. Take a look here at that beautiful little girl, Rosie. Say, look at these Rosie the Riveters. Now, what other show are you gonna? Yeah, have a seat here, Steph. There you go. As we say goodbye. There you go. That way they can see the sweet little baby. 2 little redheads.
We need someone to take a picture of us.
Here we go. Actually, tell you what. There's the camera over there. Let's show them right there. We wave at the camera, guys. Thanks so much for watching the show. Before you leave, make sure you click like on the stream and follow the channel. And then as you exit through the Grift Shop, get yourself a beautiful big box of Founding Flavors coffee. These are my top 3 favorites. Franklin's Electric Elixir, Thomas's Painkiller, Madisonian Morning. Bless me with something,
bless me with
please.
something?
Oh, gosh.
Money-wise. Please.
Can you suck it?
Rare Camellia says, clearly men are choosing women poorly. Sure it is. So whatever you have to tell yourself to avoid any accountability at all whatsoever, ladies. Accountability, women, kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? It's, oh, I'm accountable?
There's a lot of really good men out there that are just waiting for a woman. Seriously.
They're just not, attractive or make enough money for them.
Yeah,
So-
but in the end,
Or tall enough.
They would really treat a woman right.
Go to the female delusion calculator and go fill out the female delusion calculator and find out. Look at my baby. She's laughing. She's smiling right now. Lift up her head. She's like,
I'm going to encourage Hazel to find a dorky man who's going to treat her good.
give me the baby. Give me the baby.
We can do it. You can do it. Yay.
Slippery.
Hazel is not going to boss around no man. Nope.
guys. I'm Hazel. I love my dad.
All right, guys, we're out. Exit the Grift Shop. We'll see you guys here on Monday on the Wake Up America show. And Stephanie says,
be free.
On the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. See you guys. Have a great weekend. Love you.
By high prices and big government? Don't be a ghost of your former self this Halloween. We've got shirts that'll keep the ghouls and the government off your back. Inflation's scarier than any haunted house. But hey, why not turn it into a costume? Or how about our spooky government shirt? Guaranteed to spook anyone who's afraid of too much power. But if you're feeling real edgy, nothing says Halloween like our Michael Myers No Lives Matter shirt. Cause when it comes to big government, we all get slashed. At 4libertyshop.com, we believe in freedom, not fear. So grab your libertarian Halloween gear before the government takes an extra bite out of your wallet. Or your candy. 4libertyshop.com. Let's make Halloween tax-free.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.